What's going on, everybody? It's Thomas DeLauer. It's Friday evening and we're live here with YouTube. And today I want to talk about some of the common misconceptions that are associated not only with intermittent fasting but also with ketosis. But these are going to apply to a lot of different things, okay? They're not just going to apply to ketosis. They're not just going to apply to fasting. These are common misnomers, quite honestly, about dieting in general. And I think if we have a solid understanding of what I'm about to discuss, it'll help us out a lot. So as always, I love getting a lot of engagement in these videos, and I love seeing how many people hop on here on YouTube when I do these Q&As. So please do introduce yourself, comment where you're watching from so that I can say hello. What's going on, Adam? What's going on, Chad? What's going on, Neil? What's going on in Canada? Please make sure you comment where you're watching from. That way I can say hello and I can address you. Alex, good to see you. Philip, Michael, Swiss Gold, good to see you. Craig, Neil, Rocco, Stephen, Lewis, Alfonso. Got a lot of Australian people in the house today. If you guys can, before I get into the science here, if you don't mind, give this video a big ol' share so we can get a lot of people on here. And also, if you don't mind, go ahead and hit that like button so we can get as much engagement as possible. That way I can start talking about the science once I know we've got a good amount of people here. Man, we have a lot of people today. This is great. What's going on in Gillette, Wyoming? What's going on in New York City? What's going on in Logan, Texas? Melbourne, Australia? Derek, glad to hear that you caught the live. I'm glad you're catching it. Australia in the house. Jacksonville, I'm glad you survived Irma. Troy in Utah, what's going on? Dallas, Texas, Panama, Australia, North Hollywood, Riverside in the house. I'm up here in Thousand Oaks, California. And guys, I want to make sure we get a lot of people on this broadcast, but I do have some really exciting stuff to show you. I am, in case you haven't noticed, in an awesome new studio kitchen. This is my new home. Thanks to YouTube, now I'm able to really create a lot of amazing content. So anyway, I want to get going on the science here, and then I'm going to stop intermittently like I do in these live broadcasts to answer some questions and to try to get as much just overall involvement and just engagement and interaction with you as I possibly can. And in order to make that possible, I do ask that you ask questions, although I'm going to tell you right now with these live broadcasts, sometimes the comments go so fast I certainly cannot answer all the questions, but I do my best. And that way, if you do post them up, they give me video ideas for the future. But anyway, let's get down to the science. What I want to talk about today are a couple common misconceptions. Whoa, my phone just did some weird stuff. Sorry about that, guys. Hang on. Bear with me. There we go. Okay, I was holding a gimbal and it just decided to just totally crap out on me for a second. So when we're talking about these common misconceptions, the first thing I want to talk about is looking at your diet from a different angle. Looking at your diet, looking at your fasting, and looking at ketosis from a whole different ballgame when it comes to calories. So here's the thing. I want you to look at things like this. We are told that we need to be consuming a certain number of calories per day. We're always told that, our basal metabolic rate is the end all be all. We need to consume 2,000 calories or 2,500 or 3,000, 4,005, whatever. We're always told to focus on this one number, this number that we need to focus on day in and day out. Well, let me tell you why you should not be focusing on that number day in and day out. Okay, I will be the first to tell you that that calories are important. And calories in versus calories out do play a part, and it's very, very important. But what we do have to remember is that at the end of the day, our bodies don't necessarily know how long 24 hours is. Other than the fact that we have our circadian rhythm, and our bodies kind of understand that, our bodies don't understand a certain segment of time. Only we do from a cognitive standpoint. We know what 24 hours is because the sun sets, the moon sets, all of that. We know what it is, but our bodies don't. So what am I saying when it comes to fasting? Well, I'm saying when it comes to fasting is you don't want to be freaking out because you're not consuming X number of calories in a given day. Because at the end of all of it, we need to back up and we need to take a look at how many calories we're consuming to scale over the course of a week or even a month. Because it does matter when you look at it like that. It absolutely does. And what we need to constantly be paying attention to is the fact that calories consumed over the course of a week are just as important as calories consumed over the course of a day. So whether that means you consume 1,000 calories today, 3,000 calories tomorrow, and then get back on your average of 2,000, net at the end of the week, when you back up to scale, you are still in the same position. And that is where fasting really makes a lot of sense, right? Because at the end of the week, your calories could still be right where they need to be, but you're not putting yourself in this constant state of glucagon and insulin spikes where you're not burning fat and you're not getting in amazing shape. Now, I'm gonna pause for 1 second because we've got a lot of people joining in here. If you can, please comment where you're watching from. But if everyone that is on this podcast would please right now stop and hit that like button for me. Just hit that thumbs up button so we can get as many thumbs up on this as possible. It would really, really help the algorithm, and it helps out getting this video so that more people on my channel can see it. So, wow, that was a lot of thumbs up that just came through. Thank you guys very, very much. London, what's going on? Seattle, Ohio, Buffalo, New York, Florida, San Diego, Boston. We got Portugal, we got Berlin, Germany. You guys are super awesome. Tokyo, what's going on? We've got Australia, we've got Iowa, Pittsburgh, Boston, Santa Cruz, UK, Chicago, Temecula, Cascadia, New York, UK, Salt Lake City, Vancouver, Branson, Florida, the Moon, Sabrina and Rhode Island. You guys are so amazing. Thank you guys. And if you can, invite some people to join this broadcast. Get some people on here so that we can get a great conversation going. I've got about 20 minutes that I can spend with you guys here today, and I really want to make it happen, and I want to make some good stuff. So, okay, what I just touched on, just to recap, for those of you that just joined in, I'm just going to spend a second talking about what I just touched on. That was the fact that you need to start looking at your dieting and your fasting and your ketosis as how many calories you consume over the course of a week. Stop counting how many you should be consuming over the course of a day. It's going to mess with your head. There was a recent study that actually took a look at this and proved that those that look at their calories over the course of a week lost 22% more weight than those that looked at their calories on a daily basis. So looking at your calories on a daily basis just messes with your head. So that way, one day you can consume 500, the next day you can consume 4,000, whatever. The fact is your body doesn't know what a day is, so don't worry about that, okay? That's the first thing that I wanted to clear up, because everyone comes to me and they say, Thomas, I'm gonna waste away, or Thomas, I'm not gonna be able to do what I wanna do because I'm only consuming so many calories in a day. That's freaking nonsense, okay? It's one dang day. I almost cursed there. It's one freaking day, okay? You're gonna make that up, and the benefits that end up arising from the fact that you get all these hormonal benefits when you're fasting far supersede, far override any nonsensical slight loss of muscle that you may barely see by being in a fasting state for one dang day. So if at the end of the week, your calories net are still where they would ordinarily be on your normal trajectory for a deficit, then you're fine. All you're doing is consolidating. Now, does this stand true for like an extreme case? Like someone says, well, what about looking at the scale for a year? What if I wanted to fast for a year and then just eat double the calories over the course of the next year? Okay, well, you have a good argument there. That may not work. I'd say the most that you want to look at this is over the course of a week, okay? Because yes, if you were to gorge yourself for a month and then starve yourself for a month, that's not exactly a healthy swing you want to be going about. So anyway, let's go ahead and let's talk about something else that has to do with ketosis and fasting. And that is the comment that people are always afraid they're going to lose muscle or slow down their metabolism. And I have to address this, and I'm going to reference some science because it's extremely important to talk about. But real quick, we have a ton of people on this thing. I think this is the most successful YouTube live I've ever done. So huge thank you to you guys. You guys are awesome. Now that we've got a ton of people on here, can I ask a favor of everybody to A, continue to comment where you're watching from, but B, everyone that's here, just hit that thumbs up, hit that like button, because it really helps me get this algorithm out there. It really helps the video get ranked on YouTube so that more of my subscribers see it. If I want to be able to continue to produce good content, I do need to make sure that I get good engagement. And I just ask, I don't really ask for a lot of subscribers. That's not my big thing. I care more about engagement and making sure that I'm talking to you guys and that you guys are seeing my stuff. And I also want to make sure you're turning on notifications so that when I do go live, you can hop on. Okay, so now let's talk about the fear of losing muscle, the fear of wasting away, and the fear of slowing down your metabolism when you're in ketosis or when you're fasting. Here's the thing that I have to set straight that is super important to know. Okay, and if you don't know this, you're gonna know it now, and it's gonna change how you look at everything related to dieting. Your body is always going to break down protein and muscle. It just is. It's metabolically expensive for your body to carry muscle, period. That's just the way it is. But also, your body is always going to use glucose. Doesn't matter if you're in ketosis, it doesn't matter if you're fasting. Your brain requires a certain level of glucose. So you will always have always have glucose in your bloodstream. You will always be using it 100% no matter what. About 18% of your total energy requirements require glucose. So that means whether or not you're consuming carbohydrates or whether or not you are freaking fasting, ladies and gentlemen, your body is finding a way to create glucose. And it's gonna do that by breaking down proteins, or it's gonna do it from any kind of autophagy or cell recycling or anything like that. It does it, and it does that by breaking down muscle tissue. It does it by breaking down connective tissue, ligaments, tendons. It does it by breaking down even old bone. It ends up breaking down so much, recycling it and using it as a new source of fuel, protein that's converted into sugars through gluconeogenesis. And therefore your brain has fuel, your body has fuel. So when you're fasting, the question is, are you going to burn your muscle? Are you going to burn your tendons? Are you going to burn things? 100%. Ladies and gentlemen, 100%, I'm not gonna lie to you, you will. But you're going to be recycling the old, wasted ones first. If you think that you're tangibly using your biceps or tangibly using your quads, and then your body's just gonna sacrifice those, you're mistaken, because your body's gonna preserve what you're using. It's going to recycle and utilize and eat and consume what is old, wasteful, and not efficient for the body. So that means old connective tissue that you're not using. That means muscle that you're not using. It's going to recycle that. That is a good thing, and that's the beauty of fasting, and that's what makes it so freaking amazing, because it allows you to actually recycle that old crap and use it for what you need to be using it for. Energy during your fasting state so that you can continue to burn fat, feel your best. So you can see I get a little bit passionate about that because the trolls are constantly hitting me with that, constantly. My inbox is flooded day in and day out with people saying that I'm a complete idiot because I'm telling people things that are gonna make them lose their muscle and make them get fat. Well, these are usually coming from internet trolls that don't exactly look the part and don't do the research that I do. So I have to be totally diligent when I talk about this. Anyway, end rant for just a minute. We have so many people on this broadcast. Can I ask everyone to, once again, just comment where you're watching from really quick? I'm going to stare at the comments for 1 second and try to say hello to as many friggin' people as I possibly can. So let's let it roll. Comment where you're watching from. Georgina, what's going on? Morocco in the house. Winter Haven, Iowa, Pennsylvania, Montreal. What's going on? We've got Herb. We've got Miami, Florida, San Antonio, Argentina, West Virginia, St. Louis, North Carolina, Atlanta, Idaho, Canada, Marlborough, New York. Wow, Toronto, New Zealand, Bahamas, Las Vegas, Colorado, Cliffside Park, Oregon, London, Michigan, St. Louis, New York City, San Antonio, Camp Pendleton, Brooklyn, Charlotte, San Diego, Vancouver, India, New York City, Sacramento, Michigan, San Antonio again, Mexico, Mobile, Minneapolis, Alabama, Portugal, Sherbrooke, Tacoma, Australia, New York, Gary, Michigan, Honduras. Holy cow, I feel like an auctioneer. I think I have another career as an auctioneer. So now as I've got a ton of people on here, really quick, I want to take a brief intermission and show you something that I'm very, very proud of, okay? I'd like you to see the new kitchen studio. So this is where we'll be filming a lot of content from here on out. You'll be seeing all kinds of amazing content coming from the kitchen studio live here in my awesome new studio. And you'll be seeing in this area very, very soon, the part that's kind of empty behind me, big old space, we'll be building out a really, really cool gym so I can actually start bringing you workout content. Now, I don't necessarily want to be like every other YouTube fitness person, health person that's out there and just bring all kinds of just random fitness content. I want to start showing you things that really matter, things that you'll be able to couple with what I teach you in the kitchen so that I can teach you stuff in the gym. So I can teach you stuff about working out, about posture, about health, about the things that you need to do to actually be the best possible person you can be. So if you guys are interested in workout content and fitness content and health content from that perspective, let me know if you're excited about the gym. All I need you to do is comment the word gym, G-Y-M. Okay, that way I know you're excited about that content because I like to hear from you guys and what kind of content you want to see. If you guys are interested in me teaching you a little bit more about how you can work out the right way, not just nonsensical bodybuilding nonsense, I want to hear it. You guys are awesome. I'm so happy to see this because I really do listen to you guys, and that's exactly why I'm doing this broadcast. I love being able to talk with you guys and be able to see what you guys want to see, because I've up until now I only do nutrition content. Now, what about cooking content? Do you guys want to see me do some cooking content too? If you want to see gym and cooking content, you can type both. I'd love to see, if you want to see more recipes, things like that, I've got the goods to do it. Look at this beautiful stove, everything functioning here. Everything is great. Lots of people saying cooking. Okay, great. And I can do live cooking videos. This is going to be so exciting. So I'm super, super stoked. Side note, speaking about cooking, I'm going to be on the Hallmark channel cooking cauliflower crust pizza next week. So I want to make sure that you guys check that out. I'll make sure to send you guys a reminder before I do it. Okay, so now I need to get, you guys are awesome. I cannot believe how many people want to see workout content. This is going to be great. I'm going to definitely need your support when I do that, because the YouTube space when it comes to workout content is extremely competitive. So I want to make sure that you guys are, when I post those kind of videos, that you guys are liking them, that you guys are enjoying them, you're commenting on them, and you're giving me feedback. You guys are awesome. Look at all these comments. Okay, I'm going to get back to the science, and then I'm going to go answer 3 questions that come up. So I want you to think about your questions. And let me talk about one more thing here really quick. And everyone that's here, please hit that like button really quick, just so we can get those likes up as much as we can. I'd like to see the likes over 1,000 by the end of this video. Anyway, this next thing I want to talk about. I had an amazing doctor in my office today, Dr. Joe Anderson. He's a PhD in chemical engineering, believe it or not, but his background is really in ketosis, and his background is in clinical, basically he's published over 40 peer-reviewed journals or articles in the world of pulmonary science. And this is really, 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 really interesting stuff. One of the things we talked about today was, does thermodynamics really matter if you're in a state like ketosis? Does calories in versus calories out really matter anymore if you're in a fat-adapted or fat-burning state like in ketosis? Well, here's the thing, and this is what we talked about. Yes, okay? It's always going to matter. Thermodynamics always apply. Calories in versus calories out. Some people say that I'm an idiot because I talk about ketosis and I imply sometimes, I guess inadvertently, that through ketosis you can eat as much as you want. Not true at all. That's definitely not the case, okay? You still can get fat when you're in ketosis. You still can overeat. Absolutely, 100%. But here's the thing. Not all calories are created equal. They are simply not. And any person that tells you that is the case is completely wrong. Let me explain something, and hopefully this makes a lot of sense. And I'm going to ask for affirmation that you guys understand what I'm saying when I say this, because I do want to make sure you're following me. So as I'm saying this, if you don't mind, if it makes sense, just say I understand. You can just type the words I understand. I want to make sure people are following me. If you have a calorie that comes in from sugar versus a calorie that comes in from regular fats, versus another calorie that comes in from, say, MCT oil, how on earth can you say that those calories are going to still apply to the same exact bottom line of what you're after when an MCT is going to elicit a fat-burning response? An MCT is going to absolutely trigger a hormonal cascade later on down the line, whereas a sugar calorie is going to put you in an inflammatory state, shut off fat burning, shut down hormone function, and throw you off from an endocrinology standpoint. Now, how on earth can we say that calories in versus calories out is all that applies, and that a calorie is a calorie, when 1 calorie from MCT does a completely different thing 6 hours later than a sugar calorie does 6 hours later? Sure, at that very moment is a damn calorie, but 6 hours later, that calorie could have elicited and was a catalyst for an entirely different damn thing. So if I have to get in an argument with another fitness guru online about this, I'm going to lose my mind, because yes, thermodynamics apply. You have to have less calories consumed than you are burning in order to lose weight. But that does not mean that one route is easier than the other. So Karen says, say it louder for the people in the back. I don't know if that's sarcasm or if you're playing along with me or if you're being rude. I don't know. But everyone says that they understand. So I think that it makes a lot of sense. I think people are getting it. And a calorie is not always a calorie. But at the end of the day, we do need to still remember that thermodynamics apply. Now, when you are in a calorie deficit, Does ketosis or does fasting cause you to have a more positive effect? Does it cause a more beneficial effect? Yeah, of course it does, because you're fat adapted. But not everyone chooses to believe that. And I'm not saying that ketosis or fasting is better than one thing or the other. And I'm definitely not saying that one diet is better than any other diet. I'm just saying that we do have to look at everything as a whole. Anyway, Kiefer Dove, you say it should be common sense. It absolutely should be. Whoops, hang on, guys. There we go. I almost lost, my gimbal's just not having a good day today. It keeps on dropping everything. Anyway, you guys, let's go ahead and make sure, since we got so many more people on here, can everyone that's here really quick hit that like button again? I know I have more people here that haven't hit the thumbs up button, and that really helps me out a lot. I want to get as many as we possibly can. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn over to Q&A here in just a minute. So if someone has a great question and I miss it, I deeply apologize. You have to remember there's a lot of comments, and I'm going to try to do these as much as I possibly can so that I get a chance to answer your questions. But I saw a good question that just came in. Hang on. Okay, someone says, you would once suggested intermittent fasting for only 3 to 4 days per week, but I'm combining intermittent fasting with a keto diet. Should I also limit this diet to 3 to 4 days per week, or should I carb up on some days? That is a tremendously good question. Here's the thing with intermittent fasting. It should always be intermittent. Okay, so never should you really fast every day unless you're extremely seasoned. And I've talked about this before. Will I fast every day from time to time? Yeah, I'll do some consecutive days, but I've also been doing it for years, and I know what to do. Okay, so in response to your question, you're combining fasting with ketosis, ultimately getting the best of both worlds, right? How often should you refeed is really your question. Well, it's going to depend on how hard you're training. It's going to depend on a couple of different things. But what you really want to be focusing on is when you do refeed, that you're not spiking your insulin, because here's the thing. Yeah, you're going to reload and you're going to kick yourself out of keto by having some carbs. And that's one thing. But don't destroy your insulin sensitivity in the process. If you ask me, the biggest benefit of ketosis, the biggest benefit of fasting, comes from the insulin sensitivity that comes with it. It means that when you do finally consume carbs, you don't need much to elicit a positive response. You don't need much to get nutritional uptake. So don't spoil your carbohydrates by having just total garbage. What I want you to do is refeed like every 7 to 10 days after your fasting, at the end of your fasting period, and refeed with things like, and I don't care about lectins, okay? I'm not gonna talk about that right now. Refeed with some things like chickpeas, maybe some black beans, maybe even some refried black beans so they're easier to digest, some kabocha squash, some butternut squash, extremely low glycemic stuff. And that's what I want you to refeed with, okay? Then that way, a lot of it isn't even, it's gonna be so slow that you're gonna be fat adapted by the time you're done digesting those carbohydrates. You're not even gonna absorb all of them. Your body's just gonna excrete them. I hope that answers your question. Let's go ahead and I want to answer a couple more questions. Someone says let's see, here we go, that was a good one. Hang on, sorry, I have to scroll here. They don't make it too easy to see questions. I'm trying to scroll real quick, hang on. Actually, super good question. Should a high intensity athlete do keto, or is it good to have carbs for the anaerobic effect? That's a super good question, and it seems so simple, right? But here's the thing. You know, I consider myself a high-intensity athlete. I consider myself a high-performance athlete just for how much I train and what I do. And yeah, you will definitely notice a decline in your performance when you're fasting or when you're in ketosis. But it all depends on what your goal is. Is your goal fat loss, or is your goal to become more of a performance athlete? You really have to look at that because it makes a big difference. I'll tell you, between you, me, and the wall, everybody, I've been out of ketosis for about the last 4 or 5 weeks, and I've done this for a particular reason, because I like to reset myself and make sure that I'm still getting the benefits of ketosis when I go back in. And I'll tell you what I've found. I've found that my strength and my stamina in the gym is up. And I found that I look really good to an extent, because what ends up happening is that after about 4 or 5 weeks of being out of ketosis and back on carbs, your insulin sensitivity decreases and you end up being back at square one where you're just not getting the response anymore. So my suggestion is to you to do ketosis for 2 out of 3 months and then come out of keto for about 1 month and reload your glycogen and really focus on your performance and your strength gains during that point in time, and then focus on your health, focus on your longevity, and focus on your ketosis during those other 2 months. Because the benefits of ketosis really kick in after a few weeks, so you want to make sure that you're not like totally refeeding constantly. And I hope that makes a lot of sense and that answers your question, man. When does the body burn fat on its own body fat instead of the dietary fat when you're in ketosis? Well, it all has to do with the digestion. So remember, when we look at fats like MCTs, they break down fast. They bypass the liver. They're utilized quickly for energy, which means they're evacuated from the system earlier. They also increase intestinal motility, which means that they're going to bypass a lot of things and they're going to allow things to just move through the system, which means you're going to spark your body to burn fat faster, and it's going to switch over to using dietary or body fat faster from dietary fat. I hope that makes sense. So basically it all depends on the fat, but generally speaking about 2 hours. So if you were to consume a high fat meal and spike yourself to basically have dietary fats and be in a state of ketosis, it's gonna take about 2 hours before your body's through those and starts burning body fat. The whole goal here is we're trying to get our bodies adapted to utilize fats as a source of fuel so that when we do deprive ourselves of calories, the preferential source of fuel is fats. When your body is given the option to utilize glucose or fats, it's going to use glucose. And if it's conditioned to use glucose, it's going to continue to use glucose all the time. If we condition it to use fats, then when we deprive ourselves of fats, and only then does our body use its stores. I hope that makes some sense for you guys. Hey guys, can you do me a quick favor? Again, if you're just joining in here, comment where you're watching from. Broccoli, you can definitely have broccoli on ketosis. I'd love to hear where you're watching from. New Braunfels, what's going on? Guys, I know we've got a lot of people here that still haven't hit that like button, and I know I sound like a broken record, and I know some people will give me a negative comment because I ask that, but it's for good reason. The reason I ask everyone to hit that thumbs up button is because algorithmically, it really helps my videos. And YouTube, in case you don't know, is starting to turn into Facebook. Lame. What that means is that they're basing more on engagement, they're basing more on likes and comments and everything like that. So it's a good thing because it's preventing people from using clickbaity titles, and it's preventing people from doing nasty things on YouTube that they shouldn't be doing to try to basically game the monetization system. But it does mean that now we have to play the game and make sure that we get a lot of engagement. So if you guys love my videos, if you love my content, I beg of you to please hit the like button and comment, even if it's just a comment that says thank you whenever possible. It tremendously helps these videos, and the more comments, the more engagement, the better these videos are ranked, and honestly, the more videos I can produce. I would love to get to a point where I am putting out 4 to 5 videos per week for everybody. But just so you guys know, being real with you guys for a second, it costs a lot of money to produce the videos at the quality that I do. It does. I've got full-time staff. I've got 4 employees that work just on the video side with me. That costs money. And in order for me to justify putting out more good content, I need to know that my followers are engaged and they're liking it and that it's helping. Wow, this thing is just really having a rough time. I'm sorry about that, guys. And I need to know that it's really working and that you guys are getting something out of it. So someone asked if I stay in my current shape year round. I absolutely do. That's honestly how I get to do what I get to do. Let me show you guys something really cool. I'm in my new studio kitchen, by the way. This is just for those of you that just joined in. This is a new office with a studio kitchen. I'm gonna take you into my office for a second and give you a little sneak peek into my life for just 1 second here. So this is my actual office. Throw on another light here. My office is here. I think you guys will like this. Check this out. They actually had these at Costco. Check this out. It's a big old desk that works as a stand-up desk, right? It's pretty cool, right? So I can be working, standing up, doing everything. But a lot of you guys haven't seen this. Seen them at least in the flesh. I was going through, I was cleaning some stuff up, and I came through a lot of my old magazines. Like there's one of my old magazine covers with my pups. This was my first ever one. I don't know if you guys agree with me, but this is what I used to look like when I first got into the fitness industry. Way too big, way too bulky, not what I want to be like anymore. You know, then I've got some of my old features, my old muscle and fitness features and stuff. This is really kind of cool. It was cool to see that. Some people I'd asked, they've seen this in videos. That's my dad. My dad passed away in February, so still keep his picture up just because it's just good to see him. You know, it's just good to be able to look over and still see my dad. I think he'd be proud of everything that I'm doing right now. Anyway, just moving to. Wow, this gimbal is killing me today, guys. just wanted to be able to get a chance to show you guys the new studio and everything like that. I do have to go ahead and sign off here. You guys have been really, really great. So, Sebastian, you keep asking, what's my trick to get from 12 to 7%? Consistency at that point in time, my friend. Because what happens is once you're under 12%, everything starts to really, 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 really depend on consistency. And every little iota that you mess up after you're at, say 12, 10%, has an enhanced effect negatively on your body. So you guys are super amazing. Before I go, while I'm looking at comments and everything, what are a couple of ketosis and intermittent fasting topics that you would love to see me do? What's some science you'd like to see so that I can see that really fast? I'd love to just get an idea. Okay, I'm gonna wait for a couple. Someone says what nuts to eat. I actually just produced a video on that, so you guys can see that. Ketosis and sleep, that's a good one. Ketosis bulk, that's a good one. Ketosis in kids, this is actually great. Breaking ketosis, timing of fasting, plateaus while intermittent fasting. Yeah, breaking plateaus while ketosis and breaking plateaus while fasting. That's a tremendous idea. More recipes, a lot of people say. Keto bulking, keto cycling, ketosis and cholesterol. Did a video on that already. I really like the keto bulking idea. That's a great one. And I also like the ketosis sleep. And I also like the ketosis and intermittent fasting plateaus. These are all great ideas. Bloating, I've got a great video coming up on that I just recorded yesterday on facial bloat versus stomach bloat. What's the difference and how do you fix them? Keto workouts, yes, that's gonna be a really, really good one. And just so you guys know, for those of you that just joined in, I'm building out a gym behind me. Very, very cool gym, not a musclehead bodybuilding style gym. It's gonna be much more of a functional gym so I can show you the kind of things that I do to stay in good shape. And a lot of people, okay, only because people keep asking, so for an ab check. I'm not this kind of person usually, but fine, I'll show you guys real quick. Just so you know, yes, I'm still in shape, okay? Yes, there's still abs, okay? Now, that's not my style. I like to remain humble. That's why I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt. So at the end of the day, let's just turn that off. That's not the style. Yes, someone says puppy. Colt, go say hi. Colt, come here. Come here. What are you doing? He's there. That is a toy Australian Shepherd. He's Colt. I've had him. He's super shy. Colt, come here, buddy. Colt, come here. Come say hi. Come here. That's Colt. He's a good guy. Colt, say hello. Don't be shy. He's whining a little bit. You guys are amazing. Anyway, I'm gonna leave you guys with Colt to say goodbye. One last round of thumbs ups, and I'm gonna read through these comments later. I love doing these live feeds. I just wanna make sure that I'm reaching enough people when I do them. So you guys have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Enjoy some stellar content that's gonna come out next week. You guys are super awesome. I love you all. You guys are so much better than so many followers I've had years before that were only in it for just pictures with my shirt off. I mean, I love the fact that you guys love the content. So thank you for making this possible, my new studio possible. You guys are amazing. I will see you all very soon.